What's up, guys? We just finished up the last week of the EU LCS regular season, and you know what's insane? The fact that at the beginning of this weekend, every team still had a chance to make it to playoffs. Even teams like H2K and UOL, who started the season 1-7 and 1-8. And I think you'll be surprised at who did and didn't make it to the top 6 when every game counts. Check it out. Week 9 kicked off with Schalke 04 and H2K fighting to keep their playoff dreams alive. H2K were hungry and they took control early. And after a smooth Baron, they made it look easy as they took down Schalke for an easy win. This not only kept H2K in the playoffs race, but also locked G2 Esports and Vitality into the playoffs. Next up was another clash for playoffs between Roccat and Misfits. Yet it looked like Roccat were the only ones ready to hit the rift, as they dominated Misfits for a second time this split, resulting in a commanding victory and a great shot at playoffs.
Such a big win for Roccat. The second time they stomped Misfits.
It was a battle for the tournament bye in the match of the week as Vitality took on Splice. It looked like Splice was primed to take the win as they racked up kill after kill. But a beautiful collapse by Vitality kept things close. And when Splice forced a Baron, Vitality tore them to shreds to take the win and stay in the running for a bye straight to semifinals.
The Portuguese sniper is going to run them down! There is no escape from Vitality, and Splice have nothing left to give because Vitality are unstoppable, still in the battle for the bye.
Fnatic looked to close out their spring split campaign strong as they took on Giants Gaming. It was a back-and-forth brawl as both teams slugged away looking for an advantage.
Joko, Joko, no, killed by a dead man! Get clapped!
But like clockwork, Fnatic's team fighting came online at just the right time, and they landed a 32-minute knockout blow that propelled them to their 13th win.
Reckless gets the quadra going for the penta, what a way to cap it up! But no! Steelback stops him in his track! And there's no penta for Reckless today!
Last on the day was G2 taking on the Unicorns of Love. It was a magical start for the Unicorns, and after a series of dominant fights, they were actually crushing G2, going up 7 kills to 0. But a victory just wasn't in the cards, as G2 came roaring back against all the odds to take the game and keep pace for a first round playoff bye.
Oh, G2 win the fight of Baron, they win the fight of the inhibitor, and they're looking to win the game.
By the end of Friday, Fnatic was locked for first, and G2, Splice, and Vitality were locked for playoffs, but their positions were uncertain. And somehow, the remaining 6 teams all still had a shot at the final 2 playoff spots. Day 2 kicked off with Splice staying on the hunt for a first-round bye to semifinals as they faced off against Giants Gaming. It was all Xerxes all game as he made play after play to get Splice out ahead and keep them there for an absolute stomp of a win.
And brings back Targamas, who had Betsy in his belly. Easy double kills.
The stakes were high as both Roccat and H2K had a chance to lock themselves into playoffs with a win. Rockat's sights were set on the win, and it seemed like they were in a fantastic position to close out after a great engage in the bot lane. But all it took was a misplaced Crystallize to throw all of their hard work away. And try as they might to take back momentum, Sheriff's Jinx was simply too much to handle as H2K locked in their unlikely playoff spot. With H2K's win in the previous game, Misfits and the Unicorns of Love found themselves locked out of playoffs with only pride left on the line. It was a tug of war from the get-go, with each team struggling to take over the game. Unicorns thought they hit their stride when they cleaned house at Baron, but it was Misfits' tough late-game fighting that made the difference, and they took the win to close out their split 8-10. G2 Esports and Vitality were aiming for second place when they took to the Rift. Both squads battled hard, and it was a back and forth for nearly all of the game, with both teams making plays and taking chances. But after a hard-fought game, all it took was one mistake by Vitality for G2 to take the fight and close out a wild game to set up a tiebreaker against Splice for second place. The last match before tiebreakers was Fnatic versus Schalke 04. Fnatic hopped into the driver's seat early and never lost control as they drove Schalke off the Rift in 25 minutes for another convincing victory to close out the regular season with a 14-4 scoreline. The final match of the day was a tiebreaker that would finally decide the battle of the bye as G2 Esports and Splyce went head-to-head. It only took 15 minutes for G2 to showcase some seriously dominant teamfighting. And once they took down Baron and cleaned up Splyce, it was just a matter of time before they grabbed the victory and secured second place and an automatic seed into the semifinals. With the three-way tiebreaker between H2K, Roccat, and Misfits being resolved by looking at the head-to-heads between each of their games, H2K and Roccat locked in their final playoff spots, meaning that they joined Splyce and Vitality in the quarterfinals. And you know what quarterfinals means? We're back to best of 5. Tune in at 6 o'clock CET on Friday, March 23rd when the games begin. You don't want to miss it.